Okay, everybody. 3, 2, 1.
Michelle's not here, so she can't tell us off.
Ha ha ha.
I'm very happy with that.
She's that little voice in our head saying,
There's
"Stop."
only one way to record a podcast, and it's by clapping.
Exactly.
Write that down, Mish.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it? Michelle is unfortunately not here. There are many theories as to why she might not be. Like, all we heard... What is your theory? Like, I've got my theory. I heard rumours that she was called to be a producer for a relaunch of Harry Hill's TV Burp. I heard she's there now.
Oh,
she's on set with Harry.
I thought she was more of a fan of his, shark-infested bowl of custard.
That might be happening. I can't speak to what Michelle's getting up to.
Maybe both.
She could do.
Where has the knitted character been this decade?
I think she's actually making the new knitted character. I think that is what it is.
Oh, she's taken up knitting. Oh.
Yeah, so she'll be in the background of like all the different shows. You've got to find Michelle in there.
Yeah.
I heard she's gone on holiday to Hawaii.
To start
she's causing a bit of trouble there.
Oh God, no! You can't put Michelle in the same vein.
We're recording this podcast to just let you know we do not endorse Michelle's actions in Hawaii. We do not stand behind them.
There are serious conversations taking place on if Michelle will actually be allowed to return as the Flash.
The future of Michelle's place as the Flash at Urgent Rewrite Productions is under serious consideration.
It's only when she starts to make steps towards her recovery that we will indulge conversation with her again.
Michelle, when the Twitlonger is out, then we'll talk. Okay?
I have a big worry that she's just going to like turn up towards the end where she'll just pop in and be like, "Hey guys," and we'll have to be like,
"Hey guys, I'm back."
It's going to be like that scene where it's just like, we're not okay. Like, we need time to process this, Michelle. We can't just forget the person you became.
You broke a lot of war. You committed a lot of war crimes.
Exactly.
War crimes, yeah.
Michelle will be back, but we're just going to have to try.
Michelle will return in Urgent Rewrite episode 14.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Potentially. We can't promise that.
I feel like that's what it should just be at the end of the episode. It's just like the same Marvel font, or the same like James Bond font, just like Michelle will return.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Do we cut this bit out and then it seems like that was a really good idea that we didn't spoil?
Yeah.
Like that was like a really well conceived joke. It's like
yeah.
I mean, maybe she comes back, but she's been recast.
I reckon.
Like someone new is playing the role of Michelle. Like
maybe we just get like Michelle's sister.
I think I'm not being funny. I think we just hire Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
I think no. We'll let him decide. Like just Don Cheadle just gives it a try.
Yeah.
Like just gives it a go. Like who knows?
Don Cheadle will really bring a lot to Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just there's hidden corners.
There's a lot of like subtle parts of her character that I feel like she's not tapping into on screen, and I feel like Don Cheadle could bring those out.
It's often like with Michelle, like I feel like I have to wait until like the phase 2 of things until like I'm gonna really get into her character. I think.
Yeah, she's a slow burn character. Like I think she started off as very much a secondary character, and as we get further in, she's become more the protagonist as we go on.
Yeah,
it's because she's a woman. She started off too overpowered. Like it's not that she was like a poorly written character. It's just. You know, and so I'm glad.
The issue is that we need to show
depth.
that she's really earning these powers. We can't just give them to her in a freak accident because we don't like that. No one likes that.
No.
Earn them. Be grateful for them. Smile a bit more.
Yeah, that's an important feature. I think that's just that should be across the board.
I feel like we're getting away from ourselves a bit.
A little bit, yeah. This started light and fun, and now I'm just sorry, Michelle. I'm sorry this happened. Aiden, save us. Take us somewhere else, please.
So, speaking of The Flash, 5 minutes ago, I'm really good at segues.
Yeah, this is really good. I'm proud of this.
Did you know that The Flash is not in the upcoming Phase 1 of DC films?
No, tell me more.
That was a flash in the pan.
Oh, you...
I'm sorry.
That was terrible.
So, yeah, James Gunn, finally, after much bitching and moaning from the fans has dropped the slate for the DCU. Jake, have you seen these yet? I know Zach has.
Yeah, no, I saw the video that they posted, and it seems quite exciting. I'm keen.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. So the main thing is he first of all said that since Shazam has been sort of its own thing, that can easily just slot in. He's not announced a Shazam 3 or anything, but it seems like there's a good chance that Shazam just gets to carry on and be part of the new DCU. Maybe even actually fight Black Adam in the third one. Who knows? Also, no word on The Rock returning as Black Adam, which is frankly devastating.
Yeah.
Box office hit. The hierarchy of the DC universe was changed forever, and
Forever by James Gunn.
Yeah. I think it's the most just a perfect idea. It's just sitting there waiting for James. I think he just recasts Black Adam, but it's Vin Diesel. Just bring him back, just completely recast him. No explanation. It's just Vin Diesel appears.
I like that.
That's the perfect way to heal the wound.
That's something as well, actually. This does also mean, though, because James Gunn said that there will be no actors playing more than one role in the DCU going forward. So tragically also, for Dwayne Johnson, that means he cannot play Black Adam and Black Adam's dog at the same time.
It's the most stupid decision, I think. Yeah. Everything about that, video, I was like, yeah, this cool, it's exciting. That's the stupidest decision I've heard from a business point.
Not allowing more than one role?
Because they did, it was Collider and The Verge went on this, and it means, if there's an animated thing, if there's a video game, you just got one of the biggest examples of, in What If, oh yeah, some of these people can act, not all of them can voice act. Right, it's a really silly idea. And you're just limiting yourself.
I get what you're going for. The cohesion would be good, but yeah, the what was it? What If really kind of illustrated that. I wonder if with the not playing more than one role thing, I'm hoping that doesn't extend to voice roles, because obviously, who was it? Deadpool 2. Ryan Reynolds did the voice for Juggernaut, and you can't tell. So that's a good example of if you've got an actor, just fucking get them to do another voice. You don't have to pay them anymore.
And I think at the end of the day,
love
that
extorting workers.
Oops, sorry.
That was it. I just love extorting workers.
I think at the end of the day, that might scare a lot of actors off. Obviously, for a lot of people, having that amount of guaranteed work is a very good thing in this industry. But also, I think not only having that multi-picture deal, but also you will be doing all this voice acting. You might be doing video games and stuff, especially if you're an already established actor. So I think it might be a case of
it's a big
maybe getting some more unknowns or something in, so that then it can help them establish a career.
I would like a lot of unknowns anyway. I'm hoping the Superman is going to be quite unknown. I think at the time Henry Cavill was quite unknown.
Yeah, he'd done barely anything. And that made him Henry Cavill.
That was sort of that made him really.
It's weird because Man of Steel still feels like a new film to me, where it's even though it's literally a decade old.
This is the same thing you were saying about Frozen.
Oh god, no, that's horrible.
What was it when we were talking about Shrek 3 and?
It was I had this the other day. It was someone came in and into work and said oh, excuse me, mate, how old's an Xbox One? And I just said it was it's nearly a decade old, and there was just a visible shudder among all of us.
Is it actually?
It was 2013. It was just
oh, is that the one that came out at the same time as the PS4?
Yeah, and it was just everyone just in the room just sort of oh, I wish I hadn't said that.
To me, that gen is new. I didn't get a PS4 until 2018. Wow, I bought that exclusively to play Spider-Man on.
Yeah.
Yeah, as everyone, I think, pretty much did.
Yeah. It's going to be the reason I end up getting a PS5, is for Spider-Man 2.
It's funny because at work someone was talking about Resident Evil 4 and how they were that was the pinnacle of graphics when it came out. And I was that came out the year that this co-worker was born. And then it was just...
Oh, no, that's just... No, stop this. Don't like this conversation.
I'm so old.
I hate it when just they age you. It's just no, you've exposed me. Horrible thing.
I'm living with... I might have said this on the podcast already. I'm living with some of my housemates at uni. 2 of them are 19. And the amount of things I've had to explain to them, things I just casually mention in conversation, you remember Facebook poking?
Yeah.
They had no idea what that was.
No, has that been lost throughout the generation?
It's lost to time. I looked; it's still there, but it's buried in the settings.
The most pointless
Yeah.
thing.
I sent them a poke, and they were like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "It's a poke."
I'll tell you what, if they reintroduce that for the metaverse, that's what would bump it up, and then suddenly
it could work well in the meta. I just want a giant replica of I forgot what his fucking name. Who runs Facebook?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. I could only think Salamander. Mark Zuckerberg. I want a giant replica of his hand just come down from the sky and just poke you.
Much like the hand from Super Smash, where it's then
It's the master hand.
You have been chosen.
That'd be quite nice.
I'd have that, yeah.
And then he grants you legs.
Oh yeah, groundbreaking technology.
Yeah. It's about time. Anyway, I don't want to talk about the
No. Fuck that. Yeah.
The DC verse. So
Much better verse. We got to stop this, Aiden. Like, we've become a bad influence on you. You've now found a need to put segues into everything, and it's making you a worse person.
I love segues. Anyway, we only got through Shazam. We didn't even. There's about like 20 other things on this list. So he also announced that other films like Joker, The Batman Part 2, are all going to be labelled as DC Elseworlds, and that the same goes for TV shows that aren't part of the DCU canon, so Teen Titans Go and like Superman and Lois.
Yeah. The Elseworlds thing's what's excited me the most, where I'm like, that's the stuff.
That's quite...
I mean, it's a bit like what Todd Phillips said about like the Black Label thing, isn't it? Where it's like you can go off and have the offshoot things with like different filmmakers really taking a hold with a character.
Definitely. I think that's quite exciting because if someone wants to make a film and it doesn't quite fit in the DCU, they can still make it. It's not like Marvel, it's like, well, you just can't. Or they heavily water down the director's vision. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, because that's when James Gunn was like, oh, these are going to be like director-led, where it's like, you want to do something interesting with the character, let's.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's like quite interesting, where they obviously share the co-CEO of like DC Studios, and I think having like someone just on the artistic side, and then someone just on the business side is like a really interesting. Hopefully, then it would be like a really good marriage of that. Because
James Gunn, I think he just suits the position well, but also because he's had experience with Marvel and they've let him make his own film, and just as a director, I think he knows how important that is.
It's gonna like enable them to do the best of both worlds as well, where you get whatever it is James Gunn is doing, and it will be this original story, and he's not then having to like take segments of people's favorite comic books and like what Zack Snyder had to somewhat do with Dark Knight Returns and sort of cram some of that into Batman v Superman. There'll be this new thing, but then say for instance, if someone wants an adaptation of like a Swamp Thing or of an old Green Lantern, you can do that in the Elseworlds and still appease that side, so it's everyone's kind of happy on both scale, and you keep a very, very volatile fan base somewhat on your side.
I mean, also with it being filmmaker led, it's like, look at, not that we're necessarily going to go in depth on it, but like look at the Oscar nominations with like A20. Sorry, there's some dogs next door. Look at the Oscar nominations with like A24 taking the lead as like the studio with the most nominations, and it's like, who'd have thought like creating an environment where you can let artists be creative actually,
it's almost like it's a good idea. It's also like, it was an interesting thing to see where it was like I think a couple of days or like whatever after that video went out, like you had James Mangold, Guillermo del Toro, like noted comic book writers. They are all like, I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring. Like, give me a call.
Guillermo del Toro, is he angling for Swamp Thing?
I think he's expressed an interest. Yeah.
Because wasn't he meant to do a Justice League Dark film at one point?
Yeah, infamously, like I think around 2015, he was sort of like tipped to do it, but then I think it just never went anywhere.
I think if they can get that from him eventually, I'd fucking love that. I think, and obviously, Swamp Thing's in Justice League Dark in some adaptations, I think. So,
there's like that's
really exciting.
And that's what's great about it as well, because you can have like a Superman story, but then you can also have like a proper fucking Swamp Thing where it's like characters wearing each other's dead skin of loved ones, and as fucking dark and esoteric as that story devolves into, and like you can try something like that, and Like, no other studio is going to let them do that, but now this guy's at the helm and they're desperate for a hit. They'll let him do literally anything. Like,
as like a creator, would like if DC kind of said, got free reign, any character kind of thing, would you find yourself leaning maybe towards more of an Elseworlds thing, or would you be quite interested in seeing what they've actually got with the universe and making it part of that?
I think it'd be too early to say, just because.
It's hard to say. Right?
I mean, it's. I suppose every one of us is like their dream to like get your individual character and do your own story with them, but I suppose. Like.
It depends on.
My thing would be.
Trying to take it.
My thing would be like this character isn't necessarily like I can't imagine the Question or maybe Martian Manhunter is going to be one of the big figures of like what maybe James Gunn's story might be. So I'd think like, oh, maybe the Elseworld is the best they're gonna get, so that's my chance to leave a mark on them. But if we can get the origins of Batman's butler, then I think we can maybe get anything.
A quick moment of silence for that, by the way. That has just been officially cancelled.
It's been officially cancelled. Rest in peace. I've not seen a single episode.
I think that's what Michelle's off doing. She killed the show.
Oh, she's catching up on Alfred.
She's catched up on it instead. Yeah.
I think it was Michelle who got rid of Batgirl, and then she's now just moved on to the projects she doesn't like.
She was fuming that they didn't cast her, so
It's gone.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Have you watched there was a Swamp Thing show?
That was supposed to be quite good, wasn't it?
I heard mixed things. Yeah.
I think it's on Amazon because that was part of the DC did their own Disney Plus, but never released it outside of the US.
Yeah.
I think so. Then the shows all got put onto different things because that's where season 3 of Young Justice went. I think.
Yeah.
So I've still not seen it.
Oh, it's a car crash. Don't watch it.
I watched a video essay.
Oh, I'm so upset.
I didn't even watch it, but seeing someone else talk about it was upsetting.
Oh, we haven't got enough time in the day to go on about what went wrong with that.
Oh dear.
Beautiful, beautiful show.
I might try and watch something. Have you seen it, Zach?
No, I haven't. No, haven't gone near it.
No.
Do you know if it's like which comic run it's adapting? Is it the Alan Moore Swamp Thing?
No idea. Really couldn't tell you.
I've not read any Swamp Thing actually. I know him. I know him from Injustice, like the comics and the games. And I swear I've read him in another story, but I don't remember which one. Thing is, I don't read a lot of like the mainline DC comics because it's just so hard to keep up with. So I just read a lot of the Elseworlds comics.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. But speaking of Swamp Thing, Zach, so James Gunn about an hour ago tweeted.
Oh yeah.
About some other comics that are heavily going to inspire the DCU.
Let's take a look.
And in regards to Swamp Thing, apparently he's pulling a lot from Alan Moore's Absolute Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Nice.
That's...
Which, again, I've not read, but based on your reaction, I assume that's a good thing.
It's... I don't know if it's blasphemy to say, but I think that's maybe on par with his Watchmen, personally.
Oh,
like, there's...
Okay.
Like, it's...
Oh, it's Black Label.
Yeah, just... The way it explores an idea in which... Like, it goes for, like, how do you know what you are when you are no longer what you were, is just...
Yeah.
And doing it through the lens of just this fucking... Oh, no, I can't say about it. It'll turn into the whole episode, but bloody hell, it's... And that's an expensive comic. You can't get it easily, so I just stole it. But if you can, I encourage everyone to go out and see that, because that's one of my... Oh, yeah, comics are more than just what you think they are.
Yeah.
You should do a video on Absolute Swamp Thing.
Oh, I don't know. It's been done. That's a...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it one of those where there's nothing else to say that someone else?
Yeah, it's just I'm beating the horse. Like, I'm repeating what everyone would say. Unfortunately.
So I'm just gonna sort of shoot through and list off everything else that was announced. Interrupt me if there's something you want to talk about. So first of all, the Flash is still going on. He's apparently saying that's a really good film. How much of that, I wonder, is because he has to back it because it's not out yet, but also saying that the fact it's still coming out after everything Ezra Miller did, I have to believe that it must actually be kind of good. But also, he also said that after the Flash is leading into sort of a Flashpoint style New 52 reset. When then Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 take place after that. but it's not part of the DCU, but it also is. But then the official DCU starts with Chapter 1, which is titled Gods and Monsters. So we got the animated show Creature Commandos.
I have no idea what that is.
Never heard of it.
No.
But the picture he showed for it, I think the character on the far right was Weasel from the Suicide Squad. But that's the only one I recognised. Getting a Waller live-action series.
Yeah,
with,
that's what I was really excited about.
Yeah.
Because I think Viola Davis is just one of the best actors working today.
She's so well cast in that role.
And they've put Peacemaker season 2 on hold to focus on the Waller show, which is like.
So it seems like it's an in-between type season.
Yeah.
You know, like a Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian kind of thing. It seems like there's going to be a bit of crossover.
Which they,
Hopefully we're not going to resolve character arcs outside of their own show with Waller.
Can't do that again.
But no. Then we got Superman Legacy, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I'll see it. I don't know.
You'll see it.
I won't say anything yet. Just...
Another one of the comics that he said he's pulling from Zach is All-Star Superman.
That's brave. I mean,
which I haven't read, but I've heard a lot of people praise it. Is that the one where he's dying?
Yeah, it's like there's only so long left for him, and that's interesting for him to like try this early on. Like, I don't know. That's brave.
It may be more certain scenes than
potentially.
Yeah. We got a Lanterns live-action TV series with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
Oh yeah, that's
finally.
I feel like that's been in the works for years.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that. Because
do we know if Ryan Reynolds is returning?
It's too soon to say.
My favourite thing when he said about that was like, "Oh, it's going to be in the vein of True Detective," and I was like,
"Yeah,
you know what you're talking about. This is you know exactly how to feed me. That's perfect."
Yeah, like high-end HBO drama with like it even just hits half like the tone and atmosphere of True Detective. Yeah.
I think it's like cool as well because they've said like now that that's happening, like I think it's Greg Berlanti's Green Lantern show has been killed, and that's now like after 10 years of his control over DC is now like dusted, like he's gone now. It's just like finally James Gunn was the man to do it, like get rid of that guy.
Yeah. If they could bring in, I don't know how many Green Lanterns you know, but other than those main two, if another Green Lantern could appear, who would you want to show up?
Oh, that's difficult.
Based on the relationships in the comics, I would I'm surprised it's Hal and John. I would have preferred Guy Gardner and Jon Stewart.
Yeah,
I feel like
I'm surprised they didn't go for that because Guy is now like I'd say arguably more popular than Hal personally, but
I don't know. I guess maybe because Hal's sort of he's the original, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much like the OG.
Well, no, Alan Scott, but they should bring Ryan Reynolds back for Alan Scott.
Yeah, no, we're losing Aiden. He's disappearing. No, he's returning.
I didn't know if that was my Wi-Fi or
no.
not.
I was
Oh no,
the man is somewhat back.
Am I back?
Kinda. Yeah, I think he's okay.
I'm being punished because I tried casting Ryan Reynolds as Alan Scott.
No, he's gone.
Oh, no, he's gone again.
Fuck.
He's gone again.
I'm gonna stare.
It's Michelle. She's infiltrated him. She's shutting him down.
Ah!
She's shutting him down. She's not happy.
She's back from Hawaii.
Oh.
You cannot fast travel when enemies are nearby.
Stop this. Stop this, Jacob. Oh, damn it.
I've been playing too much Cyberpunk where it literally feels like Aiden's now being attacked. It would just be like enemy hacking.
How is that now, by the way? Like, how is that? I've never played it or touched it, so I don't know, but all I have is just like the initial like mess, so I don't know.
It's annoying because it's a fucking brilliant game
with
some incredible writing and moral choices and stuff. And I mean, I'm playing it on Series X, and it's like there are performance issues and glitches, nothing that like completely breaks it, but it would be unplayable if it was any worse than it currently is. And I know it was a lot worse before.
Jeez.
But I'd definitely say it's worth a play because, I mean, even just the world and everything, like all the side quests and stuff, I've not been this invested in a big game like this for a while. But yeah, I recommend.
I want to sit you down and just make you watch Edge Runners when you finish the game.
Have you not seen Edge Runners?
I watched the first episode, but I've just not had time to finish it.
Go back, Jacob. Go back. It's so good.
Am I back?
You are back, Aiden. I think you're okay.
Ah.
You're alive. He has returned.
I keep seeing Cyberpunk on sale for like half off on Steam, and I keep debating buying it.
How much is half off? 25?
Yeah, about 25, 30.
Because I got it for 15 in Asda, because obviously it's all the stock from when it first came out that they're just trying to get rid of.
I might keep an eye out in an actual shop then.
But I would say you'd have to play it on either a PS5 or next gen, because I mean, I have a PS4 copy if you want to play it on that, but it just like I would try driving, and then a massive truck would spawn on me and it would explode. And
jeez, that's insane.
Yeah, everything just like nothing worked.
I might try my luck with PC because a lot of buggy games
bet.
I've played have been completely fine for me. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I didn't encounter any bugs on my first playthrough.
It's a massively improved experience from what I hear. Like, it's what it was meant for all along, which shame.
Similar thing of like what we were saying about having James Gunn at the top of DC, because actually having that artist up there to be like, oh, okay, maybe this does need a bit more time, because obviously it can, especially when you have so much on the line. Like, I know it can be like, I've recently had to postpone a shoot for like a film shoot for a multitude of reasons, and it was like, can we still make it go ahead, because there's a lot of money riding a lot of money on my scale, not quite that scale. But it's then the artistic decision of, no, we need to give the new crew members like enough time to be able to do like XYZ or like everything. And so I do understand, obviously, very, very different scales. But yeah, I think having an artist up there to be like, maybe this needs a bit more time in the oven, is just a good thing overall.
It's come off from like such like a better like to unfortunately have to go back to Snyder, like, not to diss on him or anything, but it was like such a difficult position he was placed in, because like they said, like, this is all on you, like, we're gonna put you on this like pedestal, but now you can't like climb down if there's any issue with it, like, you can't go back on this, like, it needs to be exactly this, we've got you for this, and now we hate you that you've done this, you need to climb back down, but we physically can't let you. Whereas James has come into this is just like, I'm down to try this, like, if it works, it works, but I'm going to try and make it my thing, please let me do that. And now history doesn't seem to have repeated itself. They will, for what it's worth, or at least for a time, let him try his thing, which...
And I think it was a pretty bold decision to let Snyder do all that, because obviously, like, I mean, critical and commercial reception and stuff aside, it's like, in terms of having an artist just at that level, letting them be a bit more experimental, I think was really interesting, because obviously I know they had like a lot of studio notes and everything, and there's like a lot of studio interference and different stuff, and then James Gunn hasn't really, like, said he didn't really experience that on the Suicide Squad, and so I think it just shows the difference, where it's like, not that either's right or wrong, but just James Gunn seems to be very good at like making the ensemble, like, crowd pleasy films. Not that that diminishes any of what he does or anything, or saying it's less artistic. It's just, I think that's the style that he's really good at and like honed in on. And so I think it's just interesting seeing the comparisons, as you said.
I mean, it's like, because they've got effectively more to lose now. It's like, back then it was like, we must have our own universe, whereas now it's just, please, man, we need a hit. Like, we need something to make people love us again. Like, we need something that's just across the board. Like, we need... Even the Batman wasn't fully that for them. Like, they need one where it's just... Thank God everyone universally agrees on this, because we haven't had one of those since maybe Harry Potter. Like...
Yeah, because it... I forgot what I was going to say.
It's gone.
No, especially because like a lot of online stuff, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about like they're starting to feel the superhero and like cinematic universe fatigue. And so I think if they do just come along and go, right, okay, we're doing this properly, we're doing like the slow build up and stuff, and we're focusing more on giving you good films as they come out, as opposed to it will pay off 5 films down the line. Just trust us.
I think they need to let them actually be a film rather than an advert for the next advert.
Yeah, because I felt bad, because there's a dude at work who, like, Marvel films are like his life, and it's like we were discussing it, And then I just kind of said, it wasn't even one of my main points because like I do enjoy a lot of like the Marvel films. Then I was like, it just, some of them do feel like it's just advertising the next one, and then you then watch the next one, then it's just advertising the one after that. It doesn't really feel like it's a closed story with like one of the ones we were discussing in particular. And he said that's kind of started to sour him against Marvel films because he'd just be watching ones that he used to love. And then now he's just like, what does it actually do? And I'm so sorry.
Oh, my boy.
I didn't mean to ruin it.
You ruined that man's whole world. He had just one thing that he loved, and you took it away from him.
Which one were you talking about at the time? Put it out there.
I can't remember which one it was. It was like one of the post first Avengers ones, I think. I can't remember which one it was.
I mean, that could be any of them, in a way.
Yeah.
I also don't want to, like...
Start a culture war.
Yeah.
Incite those people.
Did either of you two see, like, after this whole DC slate was announced and stuff, and they said that the Batman Part 2 is estimated for, like, 2025?
Yeah.
Did either of you two see the clip? I have no clue his name, and I never want to see the man on my timeline again. But it was this, like, dude clearly in his, like, 40s or 50s, like, just complaining, saying how it, like, wasn't good enough. He wants to see it soon. How come they haven't got a finished script yet? How come, like, maybe they should just hire another director? And it's like...
He's been on the job, what, 2 months? It was like, what, November he got picked up, wasn't it? Like... I doubt he sat down with anyone. Come on.
3 years from one film to another, isn't that like that's literally literally what Batman Begins to The Dark Knight was? You know, it's like let them breathe, let them actually cook.
Yeah, that's what Marvel did with like several of them. Look at their last few Spider-Man films. That's been 2 or 3 years in between those. Like
until Phase 4, that was constant content.
Oh god, yeah.
That was exhausting.
I mean that's going to be a hell of an insufferable year when 2025 hits. You've got a Batman, you've got a Superman, you've got an Avengers and a Fantastic Four.
Isn't it two Avengers?
Not in the same year. I think it's a year apart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Same as what was it, Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, but that's going to be the most packed year. Like that's.
I don't think it was in the video. It was in an article I read afterwards because there was some other stuff he said at the press release. I think he was saying something like it's only going to be 2 films, 2 shows a year.
Is that what he said?
I'll take that.
Nice.
Around that, I think he said like max 3 films, 3 shows a year, which is a lot less than what Marvel's doing.
Yeah.
So, do you know if that would just be the cinematic universe, or do you know if that would be the Elseworld stuff as well?
That's a good question. I assume like Elseworld stuff, like Superman and Lois, Teen Titans Go. I assume that's just going to keep going whatever they want to do. I think he's talking like cinematic stuff in terms of like stuff you actually need to keep up with if you want to watch it all.
Yeah, because I think the Elseworld stuff, even for someone who's not really keen on the doesn't really know much about it, is enough if you have that small bit on the poster where it's like, oh, I enjoyed the last Pattinson Batman, I'll go see this one. Whereas it's like I don't feel like it would be too confusing.
Yeah, I think
it will help.
People will adapt. Like I think there's so little confidence in how quick people are able to adapt. Like, just point it out. Like everyone acts as though it's normal. People will catch up. Like there'll be people who are upset, but then they don't really exist. They're just one corner of the internet. Like it's the general audience will
get on with it. Also, a vocal minority for a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw someone complaining about like the whole universe reset and be like, "This is now canon, but this bit isn't anymore." And it was a tweet saying, "How am I going to explain this to my dad?"
I feel that.
Which is a fair point, to be fair.
That's a very.
I think that's not giving them enough credit though, because I think the general audience, I feel like they just accept what is presented to them on screen. If it's like, okay, the universe resets, and then an actor from an older film just shows up in the same role, they're not going to be like, oh, but I thought this was okay, so they're just still. I don't think it's that confusing for them. But
to some extent, I agree. Like, obviously, people aren't stupid, and I'm not saying that people who would be confused by that are, but it's like when I showed my dad, like, Infinity War and Endgame, he'd seen most of the films that you'd need to, but I'd still had to explain this is so-and-so, this is set after Ragnarok, because obviously he saw it when it came out. however many years ago, and he's only just seen Infinity War and Endgame. And so I think a lot of it is, obviously, we're all very honed in on this, whereas they're just like, oh, I enjoyed that film 5 years ago.
But I mean, like, it's also the thing of, like, everyone's had their own version of that. Like, look at Star Trek 20 years ago. Like, it's a completely new cast. It's 100 years in the future. Yeah, give it faith. People will carry on. Like, and I think,
I mean, people adjust to a new James Bond every couple of years. They can deal with Star Wars timeline jumping all over the place. I'm trying to think of other examples, but I'm blanking. The fucking X-Men timeline.
Really God, yeah. Oh dear.
What a fucking mess.
I saw a mutual friend of mine and Jake's like recently started watching X-Men, and I was like, "Oh, you poor soul, you poor soul." Like you're gonna have some fun with that, but good God, you're gonna have some lows. You poor.
I saw. Did you see the other day Nando V Movies? He put a pitch up for Deadpool 3.
No, didn't see that.
It's worth watching. I thought it was pretty good. It basically acts as sort of a swan song for that whole Fox universe. His not spoiler, but his main pitch is, do you know Mojo?
Mojo? Remind me.
The Mojo-verse. He lives in the Mojo-verse where he has control over everything, and he sort of treats everything as like a TV show.
That's a blank for me.
I'm explaining it very poorly, but watch the video. Basically, within the film, it's basically Mojo saying your universe is dying. We need to pull you out, Deadpool, to go to the new one because you test well with viewers. The rest of them are all going to die.
No, actually, yeah.
Deadpool has to like save the universe, and he teams up with Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, and he's like, we got to go sort this out.
I'd take that. That'd be good.
He pitched basically like a recreation of the Portal scene from Endgame, but with all of like the Fox universe characters coming up to like help.
Yes, do that
as well.
Just pull them all out. It's Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
they all appear.
He was saying like for the fight scenes, he'd have it switch between. There's like because it wasn't just Fox. He was saying like Blade can show up as well. Like anyone that wasn't MCU-ified.
Yeah.
So like the Spider-Man wouldn't be there, but like the Fantastic Four and stuff would. And he was saying because there was all the timeline stuff. Like in fight scenes, you can have it like have both of them there, but as one person. So like they sort of dash away, and then the next time you see them, they're just the younger self. It sort of keeps like switching between them.
That'd be so good.
Which I just thought was quite a cool concept.
I'd take that.
No, it's really good. I recommend watching it.
But I can't see Patrick Stewart die as Xavier again.
I can't.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd see them die, but he was also saying like the sort of Avengers Assemble type scene should be Patrick Stewart doing like the "To Me My X-Men."
Oh, so beautiful.
Which we've got to see eventually.
I forgot he was in Multiverse of Madness. I was just like, when was the last time we saw him die as Xavier? And I was like, oh, Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
How many times has he died now? It's at least 5, isn't it?
Went in Last Stand.
The Sean Bean of Marvel characters.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
He died in that?
Didn't he?
Well, the old one died when it was.
Again,
I need to rewatch that.
Maybe it's not as many as I think. I thought it was a lot more, but yeah.
I only remember that for Michael Fassbender. That's just my little private time where I just sit in front of a screen and just watch him and just think, "You, God, just everything." I miss him so much.
I'll blow and you do the fingering.
Yes, that film was a masterpiece. I finally come around on that. I hated it for so long.
I'm glad you agree.
I hated it for so long, but oh god, that film.
Yes.
It's the greatest thing ever.
What film is that? I don't think I've seen it.
Alien Covenant.
So to explain without context...
No, I have seen that.
Brilliant.
I just fucking blocked it from my memory.
It's good. It's good.
James Gunn, if you are listening, please have the confidence to let your Batman and your Superman sit and try and play the recorder together. Please have the confidence. Just let them do it.
We keep getting sidetracked, and I don't want to dwell on DC for much longer. So I know I said I'd rapid fire tell them last time, but now I'm actually going to rapid fire tell them.
Oh yeah.
Interrupt if you have something. The Authority film, a Paradise Lost TV show, Batman the Brave and the Bold film, Booster Gold TV show.
Yes!
Could go Woman of Tomorrow film, Swamp Thing film.
I'm very excited for fucking Booster Gold. That's going to be, everyone's going to fall in love with that.
Who would you cast for that?
Oh, that's...
Because I saw a fan casting on Twitter of Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick.
He'd do a damn good job of that. He would be incredible
because he's
for that.
instantly that charismatic, likable guy. Where it's like, you'd fall for it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would immediately.
Yeah.
If he wasn't Homelander, then I would maybe say I don't know.
Anthony Starr.
Yeah, because he's just got that like, and I think he could do that well in regards to like, I'm charismatic as fuck, but I'm not also a complete psychopath underneath all this. Like,
he scares me too much because everyone's like, he's the all the cast like he's the most like his character. Like that scares me.
Have you seen people casting him as Reverse Flash?
That would be very interesting. I'd like to see that. He'd do a damn good job of that.
I'm worried he's going to get
typecast
typecast as villains.
Reverse
though.
Flash. Yeah, true. He might want to break out of that, but I mean, if you get in the bag for it, fair enough.
True.
I've never seen him in anything else. Like I've only ever seen him, and I haven't even seen The Boys.
Banshee's worth a watch.
You haven't seen The Boys?
No, I haven't seen The Boys. Just don't really. I like watched like the first. I watched the first episode. I've probably given it an unfair shot.
I think
I didn't care.
Finish the first season. It's only like 8 episodes, I think. It's only 8 hours of your time.
Yeah, I can do that. I waste like 2 weeks on anime I will never watch again. I can do that. I mean, I saw like I see like a couple of clips of like a Homelander and a whatever Jensen Ackles is doing, and I'm like, yeah, I could commit some time to that. That seems okay.
Yeah, it is definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
In the Flash movie, there was some toy leaks. So, obviously, in the actual Flashpoint, Reverse Flash is involved.
Oh, that's cool.
Based on the toy leaks, it doesn't seem like Reverse Flash is going to be in this.
Oh.
There's something called Dark Flash, which, based on the toy, looks really fucking ugly. Not like ugly on purpose, just not a very good design.
Oh, that's a shame.
And I don't know if you care about potential plot leaks.
I'm not that bothered.
Depends
I won't see it. I don't plan on supporting that.
Have you seen the trailer? You know, there's 2 Barrys in the trailer. Supposedly one of them is going to turn out to be the bad guy.
I'd maybe say, just for the general audience, like, if maybe skip ahead like a minute.
Flash
we'll wave our hands. Like,
let me do it. I'm about to say a spoiler. Skip to this time.
Yeah. I'll put it in post.
And it'll be like 10 seconds away.
Yeah, 10 seconds. Hello, welcome back.
Hi. Wow, I never thought they'd pull that twist.
I'm kind of done with DC. Oh, sorry. The other comics that you mentioned are also The Authority by Warren Ellis.
Yeah.
I've not seen it. Do you know The Authority?
I know the name, but I know it's something I should catch up on. I just don't know what it is.
Midnighter from I don't know. I've heard of Midnighter before, and I forget the other guy. But basically, it was like a Watch Mojo video about like here's like 10 gay superheroes, and they were really struggling to find some. It was Midnighter and his boyfriend from The Authority.
I like that.
And the only thing so like James Gunn said, it's like they have sort of a different approach to fighting crime, and Midnighter's sort of a more brutal Batman kind of like pastiche, and I can't remember his fucking boyfriend's name. The Superman parallel. So yeah,
It'll do.
Yeah.
They're out there. They're cool. They exist.
And then Grant Morrison's Batman run. He's also looking at.
That's fantastic, because that's a mystery to me why that hasn't been touched by.
Which one? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Grant Morrison's.
Grant Morrison's.
Ooh, what, his Arkham Asylum or a different Batman run?
His his not New 52, that era though of Batman and Robin.
I don't know which one this is, but yeah, he's
the one that's a bit jollier.
A little bit, yeah. Like, it tries to be. For me, it's always going to be semi-inferior to like the work of Tom King, but I think Grant Morrison does do some fantastic work on Batman.
He was pretty good.
What do you think about them starting with Damian?
I mean, he's not my favourite Robin. Like, he's probably my least favourite Robin, but in regards to just the presence of Robin is like
since Super Sons. He's grown me. I think that was around when they figured out how to not make him an unlikable prick.
Yeah. Which is not. It's just not interesting. Like Jason and Dick, there's something interesting to explore there. It's just
from what he said. He said, you know, there'll be other members of the Bat family around. I can't remember if that was the video or the article I read. So I'm hoping that means Nightwing's already established. Nightwing's around.
I mean,
I'm hoping Jason's dead at this point because I'd really love an Under the Red Hood type film or show or something.
I think they need to do the leg room for that. Though.
Yeah.
Like because obviously they did that in Arkham Knight and they just introduced him.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was about to say spoilers for Arkham Knight in 10 seconds.
Spoilers for a 10-year-old game.
Oh dear. But like it's, I don't know, because...
But yeah, I think they need to do the base work.
I think the issue with Arkham Knight was they weren't planning for that from Asylum.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
It was, we want to do this now, let's pretend we've had these elements from the beginning. I could see if they do this. I also think for Damian to work at that point, depending if Damian's already there or he gets Damian in that film, Tim should be around.
Yeah.
Because I want to see Damian beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. I mean, it's my thing is because I hate the Bat Family. I hate the Bat Family as a concept. Like, I think I much prefer it when it's like, this is the one man, the one mission. I will do this by myself. Okay. But it's always most interesting to me when there is a Robin, and I think there's been such a goddamn aversion to putting those two on screen together since 1997. We've never seen it, and I think I mean, like, Patrick Willems like summed it up perfectly in that video he did about it. Like, just give it a chance. Like, again, it will work, especially if they're doing the father and son relationship. Like, I think just Robin as a force, the most popular sidekick probably ever, other than maybe like Watson, like, hasn't appeared in like a main film. It's only ever been a Teen Titans or something. So I think he's at least like, it's a very decent sign to me that, like, all right, that's something we haven't had in a long time or really done like this before. Go for it. Yeah,
because it's also how they had him in like the Lego Batman movie. I think that's how a lot of people kind of.
I think that's how they view Robin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When it's
as much as I like that, as much as I love the Lego Batman movie, I think it did some damage with Robin's character.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying it's inaccurate, but I just think like as long as they did like a.
But it's like it's
just story with it.
It's one of just like the greatest misconceptions of all time, like in regards to Robin, because everyone just pictures him as either the Lego Batman or the 60s version, like, gee, Batman, where in reality, one of them turned into one of the most popular superheroes today, one of them's a really popular anti-hero, like Tim Drake, they've done very interesting things with.
Tim kind of exists.
Yeah, Robin has been played by, or like personified by men and women, like it's a very malleable character, and I'm happy to see something like that.
I know you said you don't like the Bat Family. I'm a bit torn on it. It depends on the.
Yeah, I mean, I have
taken it because there's been comics I've read where it's just Batman, and I've really enjoyed those. But I do also enjoy his relationship with the Bat Family, and I think if Nightwing's, I do think it's important to have for bringing Damian in. I think it's important to have Nightwing established because he's meant to be like his sort of greatest success.
Yeah,
great success.
Great success.
I couldn't think of the other word. Well, he's like Nightwing's his greatest accomplishment, and then Jason
is his biggest failure.
Like, his biggest failure, and I think that should be there for when Damian arrives, because that's going to help with his conflict of like, what do I do with this kid?
Yeah. I suppose I was a little harsh on it. I just think in recent years it's become a point where it's like it's consumed the narrative. Like it's like
that's fair.
I think
it's over,
he can't exist without them, and I've missed the stories where sometimes it is just him.
I've not read too many stories about like the Bat Family. I tend to just do solo Batman ones, not from a conscious decision. And so I don't know if this is something that's already been like well trodden ground, but I think it would be quite interesting to explore the fact of like Batman is literally not preying upon, but he's literally going to like kids and being like, "Hey, want to be a superhero?"
Yeah, and like I've drafted you, like.
Yeah, and I think that would be quite an interesting thing, even if it's just a conversation with like Alfred and Bruce Wayne or something, where it's like, maybe chill the fuck out. Why are you doing this? And then obviously you can have narrative reasons as to why and everything. But I think that's like an interesting conversation to be had.
With Damien, doesn't Damien sort of insist on being Robin?
Which it's basically like Talia shows up at the doorstep, like, you are taking the kid.
Here's your child you didn't know. I kind of raped you.
Yeah.
Here's a kid.
And Bruce is just shit. Well, if we're gonna make this work, we're doing it on my terms. This is what it's gonna be.
I feel like I like to think of it as, I don't know what the fuck to do with a kid. I guess you're Robin now.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, not even just the thing of having the dialogue of like, why are you like finding these kids or having this kid and making them a Robin? But why are you letting them get put in danger and like going out and fighting crime and stuff? They did
this beautiful scene in like Young Justice, which I don't know if you've seen it. Like, it was like this episode where it was the League got together.
Season 1 and 2?
Season 1, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they were sort of like discussing like, we've got a lot of younger members and we would like to bring some of them into the main league. What are kind of like the dynamic factors? And then they bring up Robin, and it's like, you drafted him into this at like 9 years old. Like, what right has he even got to be here? Like, what right have you got to be here that you've done this? And he's like, I said, I did this so he could help bring the man to justice. And they say like, so what? So he could turn out like you? And it's like, no, so that he wouldn't. And it's there's just so much that's there that's prime for a film that like, just like it can be in lines, but it's going to be servicing for characters like this that we haven't seen in forever, and I can really just feel it out there. I'm excited for it.
A bit like the thematic thing they had in the Batman of obviously not that we need to see Bruce Wayne's origin story again. I can only see those pearls going to the floor a certain amount of times. But how it had it thematically where it was the kid, they like barely even said a word to each other, but that kid lost his parent like at that young age.
He didn't need to say it, you could see it in the way he was.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's like also a really interesting dynamic to explore.
Yeah.
I know people are clamouring for a Robin in, the Batman 2 and stuff, but I'd like if they keep the Batman now that we know we're getting Robin in this other Batman. I'd like if we keep Robert Pattinson's Batman as like Zach was saying, like the sort of gritty solo Batman without the Bat family to like back him up. I don't know. I wonder if people will be less. I wonder if they'll push for that less now that they know they are going to get a Robin soon.
But Batman Part 2's only in 2025. How can we
I need it now. Yeah. Speaking of writing the scripts, actually, do you see? So James Gunn's I think he's already written. He's written or wrote. What is the word? I don't know. He's written Peacemaker 2 already this season. Did he say he was writing Waller?
I think he is. I think there's.
He's writing Waller. He said he's writing Creature Commandos as well. He's also in the middle of writing Superman.
Yeah.
He's a busy bee.
He's still editing. He's editing Guardians 3 as well at the same time.
It's the reason his hair's gone white.
He's fucking busy.
But I mean, I imagine he's the sort of bloke where it's like he's had that in some of these characters he's had in his back pocket for a long time, and it's like I'm ready to flip the moment I am allowed to touch them. It's.
Yeah.
But nah, it's an exciting time. Like, as much as it is something we've seen before, I think we're in a very exciting prospect of now where we've got a cinematic universe, as dreadful as it is to say another one, but at least one on the horizon where the chalkboard seems so undefined. Like, Marvel at this point, they're not in a position where they can do huge shake-ups as much as they'd like to be able to say they could. They can't. No other studio is as in a beneficial position right now to say, take your time, work it out, see if this works, try that, do this, do that. We'll let you do anything, and I think that's brilliant that can happen today. When everything points to the fact that it shouldn't. But hey, it's good. I'm a fan.
Yeah, no, it's just really exciting. I don't know if we've already discussed it before on here, but with the Batman 2, who would you want to see as the villain? Like Batman Part 2. I'm so heart set on Mr. Freeze.
My immediate thought is Mr. Freeze, but also I feel like there's other ones. Because obviously there are ones that I just don't think would, like Bane. I don't think would work because if we're trying to keep it as this sort of detective.
But then also, it was almost like he
couldn't see
took
it
that
working
serum at the end where it suddenly got them all like. I think they could work that in.
Do we know if that was Venom or if it was just adrenaline? Or...
I think it's adrenaline. Like that's my take on it personally.
They could easily say it was Venom because it was green, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
But
I mean, they've got the city flooded, so that is already a good setup for a few of them.
For Mr. Freeze, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze.
Killer Croc could be interesting because we've never had him before.
We've never ever seen a Killer Croc on screen in any film.
He's in film. Suicide Squad, but that doesn't exist.
That's not a film.
Yeah, exactly. That. Yep. Preach to the choir.
Oh, they're going to come for me. Speaking of elsewhere, maybe they'll eventually get their Aya cut.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
If it does exist now, I don't believe for a second it makes it any fucking better. I do not believe there is a good film there.
God no.
I think if they do have a cut and if they're doing Elseworlds now, just fucking release it, make some money, get them to shut the fuck up.
Did you see they're doing a petition for February the 14th that everyone does like this social media thing to sell the Snyder Cut to Netflix? I don't know why. It might be because they're taking things off of HBO Max and stuff and they're worried about it. I don't know. I just saw people just saying shut the fuck up in the replies to them being like...
There's some sort of Snyder petition every couple of weeks. Like they're like... And then you see it trending and they're like, guys, we have 14,000 tweets at the moment. We are strong. We are the majority. It's like, do you know how many people there are on the planet? And you're tweeting 10 at a time. So when you... It's not as...
No.
But okay. You just... You keep at it.
You enjoy your little corner.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Jake, I'd have... Because I think you need two. Because I like the fact that like you can establish like I'd have in a very small side role, like maybe he gets taken out in like the opening act. I would have Professor Pig because I think that's that's one that would fit that tone especially well. And I know it's the current popular pick, but I would love to see Two-Face in some sort of way. Like I think that's a very
I'd love
like the way they leave Gotham at the end as well to like have an introduction of like a new White Knight character and then really explore some of the ideas of what you could do with that story.
For that though, would you have like in the Dark Knight where you get Two-Face by the end of the film?
Oh yeah, I'd want to do a transition, but I don't know. I don't know.
Set up Two-Face for the third film.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting because
as much as I love the Dark Knight, I'm really disappointed they kill off Two-Face at the end of the film. I would have loved if he was around for the third one. Especially as they didn't have access to Heath Ledger, obviously for the third one too. I'd really like the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, that would fit that very well, I must admit.
But I think any one where it is that kind of ilk of villain where it is very much, it's not about like a super serum or anything, it's just that grounded, more psychological thing just slots in so well.
His mind control technology might be a little bit far-fetched, but they could maybe work around it with like it's a drug or some sort of brainwashing.
It makes people really susceptible or something.
I mean, like they did that with like Riddler in the sense, like because Riddler was the question mark man, leaving like little boxes of puzzles, whereas in this they just turned him into like Jigsaw or something and like made him a proper, or like the Zodiac.
I have full faith they could make it work.
But now you've said it, I can't stop thinking about like Professor Pig. That would just be
because I think it would work because you'd have like a cool contrast because like someone like the Riddler or like Professor Pig, like they were fucking born crazy. There was never any way for them to go, which is what we've gotten used to. But then you could do a very, very interesting contrast of like Harvey Dent, someone who wasn't and had that fall, and Matt Reeves would do it so well.
Would you have it as Professor Pig ends up being the one to disfigure Two-Face?
I'm not even saying they'd have to like. I mean, you could try it. I'd more say like it would be like, oh, you think Professor Pig's gonna be the big villain of this, but then it's just no, he's one piece of it before it becomes.
I'm just thinking maybe obviously because he has to get scarred somehow. I'm just thinking, Professor Pig kidnaps him and he's like, I'm gonna make you like a Dollotron. And halfway through the procedure, that's when Batman arrives.
And like. Given the fact that like they have got that rating, like good grief, they make Two-Face look so good. Like
Who would you
Two-Face would look
cast as
amazing. I think
Professor
the
Pig?
Dolatrons in live action would be so disturbing. Who would I cast as Two-Face?
No, Professor Pig.
Oh, Professor Pig.
I can picture him, but I can't remember his name.
See, for me, Professor Pig, like the definitive one for me is the one from the Arkham games.
I've got a casting for Harvey Dent that I think could work, but I think Jesse Plemons.
Jesse.
I do love Jesse Plemons.
Because I think he would play that
Two-Face.
like just very sort of like.
Ooh.
I think he could play that straight cut and charming character, but then like he has in certain roles, but then just when he has to go into that like place of just what I am, because he does that so well. Like he is the most funny and charming guy, and then he is just you're horrifying and you scare me.
Yeah.
For Professor Pig, and I don't know why I'm saying this. I have no idea if he's got the range for it or not. Based entirely on his voice, I think Eric Stonestreet for Professor Pig.
Who is Eric Stonestreet? This is going to be fun.
He plays Cameron Tucker in Modern Family.
Oh. It's not going to focus.
Oh yeah, he'd do great. Oh no, I know him.
Yeah.
I remember him.
I was going to suggest John Carroll Lynch. I'm not sure if that's going to... You know, the dude from Zodiac?
Yeah. I could see him doing it, because I think he'd make it work, because he did some stuff in, like... I don't know, did you ever see him in American Horror Story? Not when he played the clown, when they got him to, like, literally play John Wayne Gacy. Like, he went for it and was very...
Did he?
I've not watched American Horror Story.
He there was a scene where it was, like... Now, in retrospect, was quite disgusting, and, like, why you... Like, idolizing these people, but, like, he did a good Gacy, and I think he could maybe bring something to that. But hey, who knows?
I'd say they could do Calendar Man, but they took a lot of Long Halloween
done it sort of now
for the film already, so it wouldn't really work.
I think
I'm just looking
with
through
who
a list
you
of Batman
said
villains.
for Professor Pig, I think that would be incredible if then you cast his husband from Modern Family.
as Two-Face.
Oh, yeah, or someone.
Oh dear.
Like Jesse Tyler Ferguson, I think.
Jesse Tyler Ferguson, yeah.
Yeah. Because he would make a good, like, politician character.
He'd do that quite
I
well,
think
yeah.
he would then be able to do the transition into it.
I've seen people say... Now,
Call
I
us,
think
James Gunn,
Matt Reeves
call
is
us.
already working on a show for him, but I've seen a lot of people say they'd like a Clayface in Batman 2.
That'd be very interesting. Because again, Clayface has never been done. Like that's
Yeah.
I
outside of.
really like what they do with Clayface on the Harley Quinn show.
Oh, he's hilarious in that.
Oh, yeah. I also do worry... I worry that's going to be a Lego Batman situation, though, where that damages his character for a
Yeah.
while, but... I think people know enough to know that like it's not quite a definitive representation of the character.
That was
Yeah.
I was so worried when they were doing these announcements that they were going to say Harley Quinn is coming to an end, and I was like, thank you so much, James. Like, thank you for keeping it and not touching
I'm
it.
really enjoying that
Yeah.
show.
Because there's the Valentine's Day special coming up, isn't there?
Is
what
there?
trailer
Yeah, it's
for
like a one. I think it's like an hour long. I don't even know. It's just a one-off for Valentine's Day, and I was like, yes, keep
One of the
this
things
going.
that I've been really like, I've still not finished series 3 yet, but one of the things that I've been really happy with, like narratively, is that obviously there is. I'll be vague for spoilers for the 3 people that don't know, but with the queer relationship in it, they haven't been afraid to then still have them as interesting characters who get annoyed at each other still and still everything like that, because obviously you might get some people writing that who could just go, oh fuck, that means they can no longer have any flaws or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just really interesting seeing how they take that dynamic from friendship to then relationship.
It doesn't.
And,
Yeah,
it's just really well done.
it doesn't seem like a
really
show
good
that would be afraid to like. We would break them up, like if we wanted to, if there was an interesting angle, like. If they thought there was something cool there, they wouldn't like. Now that we've done this, we can't go back. We're 2 in a perfect
I'm
scenario.
glad it's also not relationship drama for the sake of it.
Oh yeah,
It's actually
Yeah,
sort
exactly.
of... you could see it naturally happening.
Yeah, it just feels true to the characters, and at the end of
Yeah.
the day, that's kind of like what you want the stories to feel like.
exactly.
I'm just reading through a list of Batman villains just to see if there's any I'm
You
forgetting.
you'd fall down a rabbit hole. I mean, none of us.
It's a long fucking list. There's people who like appeared in one issue of a comic. But you know what? If not El Diablo, what's Bad Bunny's Spider-Man film? Who's he playing again? El Muerto. Was it? Did you not hear about it? So Sony
I heard
announced
he's
that
in one, but I can't remember the character.
Who's Bad
pegged
Bunny?
Bad Bunny. He's a musician / actor.
He's the one
Apparently
who I
he's
think was
popular
in
with
Bullet
kids at the
Train.
moment. Who was he playing?
It was his wedding, I think.
But
You know the wedding where everyone gets poisoned.
we're gonna forget
Yeah,
we're gonna
no,
forget like the fact of like whoever he is. He's called Bad
Right.
Bunny.
That's his stage. That's his music name, I think. Anyway, apparently he had a meeting with
Puerto
Sony.
Rican
They were like,
rapper.
"Here's every
enough.
single Spider-Man villain you could play," and he was like, "Well, I like wrestling. He's a wrestler. I'll play him." And it's some guy who appeared in one fucking issue of a Spider-Man comic about 10 years ago.
Dear God.
He's not even a villain. He's an anti-hero again. So
Oh God, yeah. Imagine being like Sony in the middle of all this. Like, yeah, we still matter, guys.
Probably from when they were... Yeah. I
I'll,
feel like, we need Spider-Man 4, but it's never going to happen with
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire. I feel like they should just, even if it's just one of the like little offshoot, even if it's just like a half-hour short story. You know the dodgy comment in the first Spider-Man where it's like, "Oh, nice outfit. Did your husband make that for you?" I feel like we need
Spider-Man
like a
4
Last
is
of Us
cancelled.
episode 3 kind of thing where it's like, it does go into like their relationship, and it does go into the fact like his husband put in so much time and effort into that costume.
well, you've just
And
committed,
I feel like
Jake.
that'd be a really...
You haven't.
you want
oh,
El Muerto to be Bonesaw's husband. And that's the plot of El Muerto. He wants payback at Spider-Man for insulting his husband and the outfit he made.
Yeah,
for
we
him.
can get Randy Savage back. Yeah.
See, Spider-Man wasn't being homophobic. He was asking a genuine question.
You're playing with fire inciting that episode, Jake, having not yet seen it. I think you're going to look at that and
I
think
know.
this was a war crime on my part.
I'm scared because I haven't seen it yet,
Oh.
but I just know that it like explores the relationship. But I just mean
yeah.
as in like having the offshoot.
It is.
Talking about ripping hearts and things open, I hear chainsaws are good for that. If anyone wants to jump on that segue.
I think as punishment we don't even discuss
So-
it. That's just terrible.
You know,
I haven't seen it. I have nothing to say about it.
get out.
I've heard it's good.
It's incredible.
Right.
It's incredible.
So I watched Chainsaw Man recently.
Oh well.
I watched it in Japanese, and it was so good. I went back and watched it in English because I was trying to decide. I was like, I want to know when season 2 comes around, which one do I want to watch it in? I think I'll probably stick with Japanese,
Yeah.
although the English dub was pretty good. Yeah, after I watched it, I wanted more. So I went and binge read the manga in about 2 days. So I am all caught up, except for potentially the latest chapter. I don't know if that's come out yet or not. So
I haven't read.
Zach,
I haven't read the last
I
2.
hear-
I don't believe.
have you? But you've started part
Yeah,
2.
I've started part 2.
Okay.
It is.
Potential spoilers for spoilers for Chainsaw Man going forward,
Yeah.
for the anime and for the manga
Yeah.
going forward. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, it's beyond words. Bonkers
yeah.
good. It's everything it should be.
Insanely good.
It's just that's the only
so-
review it needs. It's insanely good.
Yeah,
just
right. That's it. We're
yeah, done. Yeah,
Spoilers.
It's
It
gone.
was fucking
Yeah,
good.
it's fucking good, yo.
So I was fucking stupid after I finished the anime. I was like, oh, I'll watch a YouTuber I like called Grayson's Projects, who I know Jake knows. I don't know if you know.
I haven't heard, but I know the name.
She uploaded an iceberg video on Chainsaw Man. I was like, oh well, I like Chainsaw Man, so I watched it. And gave me some spoilers, not many spoilers for the anime. I was basically for the manga. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a few spoilers where I was like, I mean, I won't really know what it means because it's just gonna be names I don't know yet, so I'll probably forget. And then she revealed that Makima was the control devil,
Yep.
the horseman of the apocalypse, and I was like, well, that would have been cool to find out. But I already knew something was off with her, so
Because
no, it was really good.
because I'd maybe like Jake to someday see this. I'm a refrain from saying too much. But I think I love.
I don't think he's listening.
I love so much about it in regards to like, say for instance, it's got like the kind of like really really interesting setup of something like a supernatural or like a or what is it like a Doctor Who. Like, there's such a defined lore on like how the devils work, on how that world interacts, but all of that is just completely secondary to like this really like disgustingly human story, and like how you are the perfect like sort of culmination of the worst things and best things that have happened to you, and that if you let people in, you will grow through it. Like, I love how like that main trio, like you've got Aki, you've got Denji, you've got Power, like they are the shittest human beings at the start of that story, and then by the end they are family. Like, you don't want to see them.
They are terrible people.
Yeah.
And yet I've seen so many people make this point, compared to other anime and like manga protagonists, I'd rather hang out with them than anyone else.
It was like when they dropped the first trailer for it, like there was all like the shots of the fights and the battles and like him turning into the Chainsaw Man, but like it was just shots of them around the table. I was like, yes, you have nailed this. You understand what it is. Like, you know exactly the vibe.
Again, spoilers. The fact that Aki at the start, obviously he's the one, I think, out of that trio that you care about the least.
Yeah.
Just because he's
he's not
Power. But the fact that by the time he faces off with the Gun Devil, like the fact I cared enough that an issue about him imagining a snowball fight with Denji had me on the fucking verge of tears, and like just in total fucking disbelief, because
it's just
the way he makes you care about those characters.
There's so many moments where it's like the sheer tragedy of Aki, where it's just like, God, I just want to give him a hug, and just like when you've got like Denji on Power off being like the fucking little gremlins that they are, being just the funniest people around, like so engaging, and it's just this poor fucking guy off to the side, like just constantly like shortening his life for the pursuit of one goal, like nothing else matters until suddenly it does, until suddenly Power and like Denji are his family, and I'll give anything to keep that around.
I'm interested to see, so obviously the anime onlys, fucking massive Makima simp at the moment. I can't wait to see them react to some of the fucking shit she does. I expect a lot of it they're going to let slide. Because she's hot. I wonder how much. I want to know where the bar is for them. For maybe we shouldn't simp for this woman anymore.
No,
I was a Makima simp.
We will continue to simp for Makima.
I'm not proud of it. I still am.
Yeah.
Do I feel gross about it?
She's an evil terrorist, but we'll still let her do it.
Yeah. I feel like I have so much to say about it, but I also don't know. Yeah, I don't really know where to fucking begin.
Yeah, it's something that we could go around and around the sun talking about. I think if you want some more of the vibe of what Chainsaw Man is, go and read Fire Punch.
I've already.
Oh, it's so good.
It was really good. I was speaking to I was speaking to one of my friends about it because they were asking. They mentioned Fire Punch. I was like, "Have you read Fire Punch?" They were like, "No." And like some of their friends have read it as well. They asked, "Would you recommend it?" I was like, "I honestly don't know," because it's good, but it's so fucked up, man.
Like, I love this as a litmus test. It's like, if I say, Jake, what do you think the manga Fire Punch is about?
Well, like any genre kind of thing. Like, what does it make me?
What do you think it's about? Like,
what do you think? Like, yeah.
Fire Punch sounds like it would maybe be something. I don't know. I'm kind of picturing like a One Punch Man, but maybe a like Heat Wave from Benton. Or I'm picturing like the Fire Nation from Avatar kind of thing.
The premise of Fire Punch is that a man has the superpower of regeneration, but is cursed to be eternally on fire, so is in constant agony, and has constantly got pieces of his body falling off of him. Also, his sister is in love with him.
Oh.
I was about to say, well, it's not really a sister. No, his actual sister was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heat, a lot of friction between them.
Yeah. It just, I implore, one day we're going to get Jake to watch that show.
If I had to put like, I don't know, like keyword tags, you know, for like YouTube about Fire Punch, it'd be superpowers, nuclear winter, well, not nuclear winter, incest, cannibalism, bodily mutilation, rape, pedophilia.
So all the like really uncontroversial, really just easygoing topics.
It's a really nice family-friendly manga, and I highly doubt it's ever going to get adapted into an anime. even that aside, just having to animate the flames on his body would be a fucking
yeah. They'd have to do
ass.
something that can like loop or something like that, where it's like
they do it in 3D, which is why
it would be a 3D.
That's why Attack on Titan got butchered, unfortunately.
ah shit.
To be fair, in part 2,
part 2 it looked a
there
lot
was an
better.
improvement on those, and I noticed they started using a lot more close-up shots of the Titans, so they could actually draw them rather than. But yeah, that was a bit disappointing. The Warhammer Titan fight.
Yeah.
Now I've not read the manga, but my mate was looking forward to that for so long because they read the manga.
Yeah.
Very disappointed with it.
Which series does like the CG start?
Attack on Titan.
It's the final season, so it's season 4.
Oh, is that when they bring in
shift
the
animation studio because the production company is it the production company?
Yeah, the studio said like we don't want to be the Attack on Titan studio anymore. Just handed it off.
It's because the Attack on Titan. Who was it? Whoever was the higher ups to.
Yeah.
Was it Wit?
Yeah, it was Wit made it, and then
they
Production
were
IG
like,
owns
you
it.
need to make this anime in the next year for us, and they were like, that's not fucking happening.
Yeah.
And so backed out. They went to I think almost every other anime studio, and they were like, no, that is ridiculously unrealistic. And then I think they went to Mappa, and Mappa was like, yeah, okay. And they fucking shouldn't have.
And Mappa owns already the biggest names already. They do all the big things, and it's a reason why their workers are overworked and given slavish hours and levels of work. So
just to name some of the big ones they're doing, they did Jujutsu Kaisen, they did Attack on Titan, they're working on part 3 of it now. Yeah. They did Chainsaw Man as well.
They're doing One Punch Man.
Were they?
Yeah, it's just it's a lot of
So
work.
they're literally
Were they
doing like
Demon
all the big
Slayer?
heavy hitters.
They're doing Vinland Saga. They're doing literally everything. Yeah. Like they've got
a lot on their plate, and that poor fucking staff.
Yeah. And that's the big thing I say as well, like in regards to like Chainsaw Man is a huge hit, Attack on Titan is a huge hit. They've made a fucking amazing job of it, but at the same time, I maybe wouldn't blame you if you just decided you wanted to read the manga instead, because I don't think they fully deserve to be supported. And that's an interesting conversation because I want to support those artists, but that's a company that potentially needs to see a loss to maybe start realizing, we're mistreating people.
Yeah.
And this can't carry on. They'll never accept that, and they'll never learn from it. But it's horrible.
It's impressive though that they're working them so much, and yet, at least for everything I've seen so far from them, it's still coming out so good.
Yeah, every single piece of it.
And I do think, obviously, people complain that they use CGI a lot, and like for the Titans, fair enough. We've seen that you can do that in 2D. For the actual Chainsaw Man. Like when he's in Chainsaw Man mode, I don't know if they could have. I guess they could have 2D animated that, but it would have taken a very long time.
I know with a lot of like anime studios, they save some stuff where it's like, oh, we'll do it for the Blu-ray where they tidy some things up.
Yeah.
Do they tend to do that as well, or is that kind of like right once it's done and it's gone, or is it like already at that quality?
When you watch the final season of Attack on Titan, you'll see that massively.
Yeah,
because when they
has that happened with the Blu-ray?
It has happened, yeah. When they did the final season part 1, like there were interesting shots, there were cool ideas, and then there's like layers upon layers upon layers of it added to the Blu-ray.
Oh
like
shit!
They act.
I did notice when I think there was a lot of scenes where it was just static shots of characters, like scenes of like the sky while they're talking, and it's like I feel like this was meant to be something else, and they ran out of time.
They've destroyed one of. I will keep it completely spoiler free because I want Jake to go into it completely blind, and because I think it will rock his world. But there's a sequence in it where it's like a visage of a face is shown, and it's like one of the most like. I was physically like shuddering because I was so like, not necessarily frightened, but like, Jesus Christ, that really happened. And then they just cake it over like an awful VHS filter layer, and it's like, you ruined this. Why did you touch it? Why did you do that at all? Like they just put it on for the sake of doing it, and it's like, no, this was perfect, and you've just destroyed it.
Shit.
Have they removed that on the Blu-ray, or is it the same stuff?
No, it's still on the Blu-ray. It's just.
See, because I watched it as it came out on I think it was Funimation at the time, so I've only seen the original airings of those.
So what we're gonna do is, because we don't know when Michelle is coming back. Eventually she's gonna come back, but one day she'll disappear again.
They're gonna kick her out of Hawaii at some point.
By then, I expect Jacob to have finished at least one of those shows, and then we can have a big old shindig.
We could do a little
big old shindig.
Have a separate urgent rewrite podcast where we go through. We're going to really milk this.
Yeah.
Okay, Jake's going to watch. You know those channels like showing my friend blank for the first time. That's something. Jake, congratulations! You're the star of a new Attack on Titan show.
So this is equivalent of like
an
American person trying a Greg sausage roll.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're going to become girlfriend reviews, but it will just be Jake's reviews.
We're gonna sit you
Friend
down.
of
We're
Weeb
gonna
reviews.
have the video of you watching it, and we could just get stock footage of you going, what? And then we can like chop that up a bit, and then we can do like a post-show discussion every episode, where it's just you like being like, oh my god, I can't believe that, and we're like, yeah.
I'd be really like, because girlfriend reviews puts out like such a nice vibe of like, oh, they're really cute, and I really like they've gone on that journey together. People would look at Jake and think, God, that poor man, he's a prisoner. What have they done to him? What did they force him to do? These disgusting
You finish
degenerates.
season 1 of Attack on Titan, you're like, can I go home now? Can I see my family? No, Jake. Now we start Chainsaw.
Just starting the reviews, just like in the comments, start reporting the video. Just we need to keep Jake safe, get him out of their home,
Through
keep
Morse
them away from
code,
him.
I'll blink to the audience. I'll just be like, help me.
I am not safe.
It's going to be less like girlfriend films, and like those family channels where they force their children to partake in the video, or
Yeah, can you cry for the
those
thumbnails? I am crying. Cry harder. Oh dear.
It's like let me film your childhood trauma. Hang on, I have to monetize this.